Hi, I'm Lynne with Soft Squares. It is Monday, March 20th, and it's time for Maker's Monday. I'm going to show you how to make this quilt behind me that I'm in the middle of. We're going to finish it. This really cool fabric from my Creative Notions subscription box, and I'll show you more about that here. Anyway, I've got 8 panel pieces, some really cute bicycle fabric, and then 11 fat 8s. There's also some fabric that was in between the border pieces, the panels. This was on the panel between the blocks, and there's this little soft background that I could use if I need to. All right, so let me show you some footage of how I came up with this, and let me just run it down in a nutshell. I took a panel and I cut out the blocks on the panel, and it came with coordinating fabric. By the way, this was in my Creative Notions box that I just opened in February, but it was their November box. Anyway, all of this fabric was in there, so if you got the box too, or if you want it, you can contact her, but that's where this came from. Anyway, I cut my blocks out, and then I put them together by rows, and this height of this, which it's been a couple days since I've done it, and I can't remember, it is 8.5. So 8.5 tall is the height that I made all the stripes, and I just laid them out, tried to get them so they didn't have 2 the same color or 2 the same print next to each other. And the only pattern I really have going on is I put these border pieces on here and I staggered them, but on both sides of it I put white. And the one thing I'm going to do, instead of just picking up the rows and sewing them together, I really want, that's a bad example, these to line up like this. So I'm going to shift, anyway, I'm going to shift the fabric to make sure that these do line up. And as I was putting them together, I noticed that the edges are not even, and I'm not worried about that right now. Some rows had more seams, and so as I was laying it out, it was hard to tell, and I knew I'd have that problem. So I will adjust everything as I'm lining them up. So these two will be shifted, and you'll see that. That's just what I wanted to do with this. You don't have to even have a plan, but that's how simple this is, and you don't need a pattern for it. So let's see how it's coming together. It's a panel, I don't need this, and it came from Creative Notions, and there's 8 of these cute little blocks, and I hand cut them, which is why they look so lovely and straight. And there's some really pretty, there's 11 fat 8s that go with this yardage. This is one of their blocks. It has this cute bicycle and the flowers in pink. Here's another cute block with the bicycle and flowers in pink. And then these are the other blocks that are in it, and they're just adorable. The fat 8s coordinate with this, and it came from Creative Notions, and these are the fat 8s that go with it. And I think that this fabric right here will somehow work with it. Just kind of give you a, oh, they're facing me, sorry. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I want to do something, just do something different. I have some ideas, and when I get to it, I will definitely share with you. But that's what I want to use this fabric for, is to somehow incorporate this. And maybe this will be a border or some large blocks in between to stretch out these. I really don't know. There's only 1 yard of this, so I won't get very far, but I think a border, that would work for a border. What do you think about it? another thing that came with this panel is they had gaps between the panels, and sometimes they leave it white and sometimes they put a pattern in there. And I made as big a strips as I could, but this is the fabric that was in the in between, so it is directional, but I figured I could also incorporate that in here. It's interesting because to me it's like a lavender-ish pink, purplish pink, and these are more true pink. However, I believe it's the color that's in here. So I can definitely see how this could be incorporated. I think I want to make sure that these touch each other so it looks like it's not out of place, but I do have this extra fabric to incorporate should I decide to use it. Show you what they are. I folded it up. So I've got my rows already marked. So this is row 7 and row 1 is at the bottom. So all I have to do is sit down and sew across the rows, and this is really simple. I'm not worried about the ends of this quilt, but you can see I picked up those first 2 rows, and I need that one seam I picked out, which is too hard to show you right here, I'm sorry, but I'm going to make sure that seam right here is nested. And I did press my seams every other direction with every other row. So I pin this in, stitch it together, and right now with the rows, I'm probably going to be cutting something off of these and adding or adding them. So right now I'm going to leave a little bit of a space near the edge of all the rows just in case I end up needing to add or remove and I still need to sew that seam. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so here's my rows 1 and 2, and I leave my numbers on until I'm done because sometimes I get them out of order. So this is the only place I wanted it to line up. I want these white that I have on both sides of my block from the panel to frame and to intersect like that. It's the only thing I care about on this. So as I said before, I'm not sewing all the way to the ends. I did leave a little gap on both sides as I figure out if I'm going to be taking off or adding to, and then I'll finish those lines. Oh, let's just keep adding. I'm done with this. It is 48 by 60. I could leave it or I can add to it, and I think I'm gonna leave it. And hopefully, I didn't end up using this. Thought it was kind of busy without it. This would be cute as a back, but I don't have enough to do that. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. So what I did is I put them up and I adjusted the rows as needed. And then I squared it up. So like these aren't exactly straight. I'm not worried about it because this is going to be in my binding. And I'll be able to square it up more specifically when I get to that point where I'm ready after it's quilted and putting the binding on it. So this is how this one turned out. Okay, I'm doing this one. And I'm going to use this. I think that'll be cute. It has the blue in there as well as the pink.
Seems like it might work.
Seems like it would. And, okay, so that is 48. So, holy cow. Okay.
What do you got?
I have 56 doubled. So I have exactly what I need and about that much extra, which works if it goes to the quilter. Let me know what you think about it. I think it's pretty easy. You do have to spend a little time with your layout if you're concerned about it or not. Hopefully this is something you guys can do if you wanted to. Let me know what you think about it. And that is it for this. Come back every Monday at 3 o'clock. Thanks for being here. Have a good day.